Absolutely. Yeah, I would without hesitation. And I think I mentioned earlier about starting off with Finch and lettings as part of our business. And that soon became something that the other parts of the business were interested in knowing more about, and like no hesitation in rolling out Finch throughout the whole of Arun Estates. And I recommend Finch to everyone. It's a really good product, and it really helps your business connect with your customers in the way you want it to. Because it works, and it works every time. It's about having a method or mechanism of secure capture of data. So a customer can give us their bank details, knowing that they're not going to be exposed to any potential cybercrime or any potential hackers, because the process and exchange of data is secure and done so in a way that you're minimising the risk completely. One of the big issues, or bigger issues for companies of our size when we're dealing with payments to landlords, is how their bank details are handled. So we have a facility through Finch where landlords can use their open banking account to send us their bank details, so we know that there's been no potential error or miskeying by the landlord or by our staff. So that gives us the surety of knowing that the bank details are going to be correct. It is the fact, it keeps coming back to that with anything tech-wise, it just has to work. And it does work. It's never a time where something has gone wrong and we've lost data, or something's gone wrong in the process and there's an error coming up. That just doesn't happen. So you can rely on it every time you need to use it. The staff love it. The way that it integrates through Outlook is seamless, so that makes it really easy for our staff to use. And because of that also, it's really easy to deploy across the network. So we have 18 or 19 lettings offices, but it's now been rolled out to the sales network as well, which is 100 plus offices. And actually for our IT team, it's just as straightforward as adding the right plugin to the right settings behind the scenes, and all of a sudden it's in front of all of the staff. It's super easy, and you can guide people through with pop-up notes or tell me more, or hyperlinks. So from a ascending point of view for our staff, or actually from a signing point of view and completion point of view for customers, it really is as straightforward as it can be. It's a sign of a good product. It shouldn't need, that is modern tech. The tech they produce is very intuitive. It works in the way you expect it to. It just works. And even if someone does something wrong in a Finch workflow, you kind of lock it down so you can't proceed to the next step until they get it right. So, it is very user-friendly. The landlord onboarding was the first workflow that we put in place with Finch. And it was always something that we had in place. We had electronic signing in place. We could, at a basic level, capture some data back from the customer. The process was never seamless. It was always a little bit clunky. And it's always like using something not necessarily for its design purpose. So we're using it to fit a scenario that we want it to fit, rather than it's made for that scenario. Where Finch really works is that it adapts and is built for your specific process. So that allows us to have a more seamless customer experience, for customers to understand the process, and for it to be as user-friendly as possible. That makes a real difference. Yes, and it's becoming a bigger part of the business. Where Finch is really beneficial is that it allows us to match our desired processes exactly. So the way we want to ask a certain question, or have a document signed, or how we want the document to look with the customer, is taken care of by Finch. We ask for what we want, we specify it exactly, and that's what we get to put in front of the customer. So we can show them exactly how we want it to look. And that allows us really to work seamlessly, rather than having to have workarounds or little explanation notes. So don't ignore that bit and just fill in this bit here, please. This bit, I'll cross through this bit, that's not for you. Finch just presents the exact document the customer needs to see in front of them, or mirrors the exact process we want the customer to go through in terms of information they give us or the questions that we ask of them. And it really does allow you to have a bespoke process where it adapts to your needs rather than you adapting to the needs of the software. I do have a bit of a bee in my bonnet about white labelling in general terms, because I speak to a lot of different software companies, and it turns out that white labelling for most people is sticking your logo on a product and then calling it your own, and you're still stuck with that product doing things the way that it does them. And that's not really white labelling. It's more than a logo and more than your brand name being attached to it. What Finch does is really allows you to have your processes matched exactly to give a bespoke to your business approach to the customer, and that really is white labelling. That is, your business process put in front of your customer to sign a document, to fill out a form, whatever it needs to be. It's your form done the way you want it to be and presented in the way you want it to be presented. We use Finch for a few different parts of our business. One of them is for landlord onboarding and signing in terms of business. And part of that process, it allows us to offer products and services to landlords. And these are products and services that actually should be and would normally be positioned with them when we meet them face to face. So we talk to them about a certain product or service. The landlords aren't always at that point in time ready to commit to knowing exactly what they want. So we use Finch to reposition those products and additional services in front of the landlord. And we can then see the information they give back to us in the Finch vault, which allows us to look for anything we may have missed opportunities on. So a landlord expresses an interest in a certain product where we haven't already referred it to our third-party provider for buildings content insurance, for example, or for a mortgage review or something like that. So it allows us to maximise opportunities that we would perhaps miss before. So that's one part of the value add. The other is being certain that your processes are being completely compliant with. So there are certain things that we do need to be very careful of how we position products with landlords, how salesmen sell things, especially when you're looking into financial products sometimes. There are strict rules and things that you have to adhere to. So we can use, again, the feedback from the documents and what's happened in the signing process to see that things have been positioned correctly. We can, in some cases, even ask for feedback from landlords about certain things, which gives us an insight perhaps into how our salespeople are doing in the field, where they may need actually some help themselves in product knowledge or training.